You have found Authentic Business Adventures, a business program that brings you the struggle stories and triumphant successes of business owners across the land. We're locally underwritten by the Bank of Sun Prairie. My name is James Cademan, entrepreneur, author, speaker, and helpful coach to small business owners across the country. And today we're welcoming / preparing to learn from Michelle Vande Hey, the owner of Light of Love Coaching. So Michelle, how are you doing today?
I am doing wonderful. The sun is shining and I've got my heated blanket on, so I'm great.
Yeah, it's so funny. Winter in Wisconsin when the sun is shining just means that it's insanely cold.
Yeah, right. I know. Isn't that funny?
Yeah, it's you look outside and you're like, yeah, let's just jump outside in a shorts and t-shirt, and then you freeze standing still. So
Yeah, right.
Welcome to
Right.
Wisconsin. So tell us, what is Light of Love Coaching?
Light of Love Coaching is my business, and I am a life purpose empowerment coach for grieving women.
All
So
right.
anyone who has lost a child, a sibling, a partner, or a parent that is looking for, like, trying to find themselves again, like they maybe have gone back to work and don't feel connected with their work, or they're having a hard time going back to work because they just don't know who they are anymore. So I help them transition
All
into
right.
that new, like, who are they now? So
Interesting. Okay.
yeah.
So that has to be tough, challenging, because I can't even imagine the conversations that you have to have with people, and just the dynamic of the relationship of the coach versus the client, I guess. It's just
Yeah.
weird with the whole grieving and all that kind of stuff. You must have a lot more empathy than me.
I do. I am a very empathetic person, and that I had my own experience with the death of not only my nephew died in 2016, and then my actually son died in 2018.
Oh, I'm
And
sorry.
yeah, and so it's like, this is not a place I ever thought I was going to be. If I didn't have my own experience, I don't think I would have ever touched grief, because I feel like when what especially some of, like, losing a child, it's like I didn't know what to say to someone before my son died, and like all of that kind of stuff. And then it just kind of turned into something that I went from, like, doing my health and nutrition, and then it just kind of shifted into, throughout my experience, and me kind of also trying to figure out who I was again,
Right.
because especially because my son had special needs. And so often it's like, as parents, it's like a lot of our identity is in our children, right? Or like our lives revolve around our children. And so when they die, it's like, well, who am I now?
Right.
And really almost that question of, like, who do I want to be? And I think that's the thing with death, is like, it opens your mind up to, like, I don't have to stay in a job I don't like. I don't have to be doing what I was doing before if I don't feel connected with it anymore, because there is this, like, I'm still a lot of who I was, but I am definitely not the same person I was before as well,
Right.
at the same time. So
I suppose it brings about a little bit of the no one lives forever kind of thing.
yeah, right. Yeah. And it's like, why do I want to and it's not necessarily just work, but it's like, why do I want to be in this place if I don't like it anymore? And
Right.
really, like, I want to feel joy again and not feel guilty about feeling joy. And like, a lot of guilt and shame is what I actually have found that I work with people, is
Oh,
because, like, that guilt of, because a lot of times it's like you want to go back to the person you were, because that is like where your memories of when that person was still here.
right.
And yeah, and so I don't even remember where I was going with that, but so, like, finding who you are again, it's like, oh, that guilt, that's what I was going. The guilt of, like, I feel bad feeling happy. I feel bad enjoying life, because it's like they don't get to be here and enjoy life with me.
Oh, okay.
And
You feel
so
guilty that you have that opportunity.
yeah, like, you feel guilty that you're still here and they're not.
All
That's
right.
like, that's a big piece of what I help people work through, at women specifically. Um, Especially with child loss, it's really, and with, I mean, with a lot of loss, it's like you always feel like, oh, what could I have done
Mm-hmm.
to keep them here? Especially with the sudden deaths, anything that wasn't like and even with sicknesses and illnesses too, it's like, oh, I wish I would have done this, I wish I would have done this.
Yeah.
And yeah, and so it can be hard to get to that moving forward point and wanting to feel connected
Hmm.
with your work or wherever you're going in life. But then like once you really realize like, hey, life is short and I want to enjoy it. And if my person was here still, they would want me to enjoy it too. So
Right. Exactly.
um,
Right there.
yeah,
Right. What would they
yeah,
want you to feel? I want
yeah,
you to be sitting on the couch crying or enjoying the opportunity that you have.
right.
So
Yes.
huge right there.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah.
So when people, well, let me back up a step. How do people find you? Do they talk to a friend and the friend knows you, or does somebody suggest like, hey, you gotta talk to Michelle, you're about to crack, kind of thing, something like that? Or
Yeah, I mean, so it can be kind of tricky because a lot of times, like one of the main questions I get is like, but how do I refer someone to you? Because I don't want them to think that I think they need help or something like that. And so
right.
a
It's like
lot of times,
referring life insurance, I feel like.
yeah, yeah,
Hey, you're probably gonna die. So
right,
just talk to this
right,
guy.
yeah. And so I mean, it is referrals from people, and I
Okay.
would just say like, hey, just reach out to them and say you know this person that supports women, and if you're looking for that, I can connect you with her. If you're not, that's okay too. And I offer a free support group so then
Oh,
people can kind of get to know me a little bit. I know with
yeah.
my own experience with like going to therapy, um, I had a therapist that she was fine, but she wasn't right for me. And then we have another therapist, which has been like the most amazing therapist for our family.
Oh, wow.
And that is common too, is like trying to find the right person to be your support person. And so having that group allows people to get to know me a little bit better and have me also kind of offer support to people that maybe aren't ready yet for it or just aren't like yeah just aren't quite ready for the program and everything that I offer. So yeah,
Got it.
so I have a free support group that people find me through that as well.
Okay. And
Because
how do people, is this online, Zoom, phone call?
yeah, it's online.
Okay.
It's a Facebook community right now. So that's where a lot of women, because Facebook has groups. And so it's like finding that feeling like you're not alone is one of another big thing. And so when you can be part of a group where you feel less alone because other people have gone through something similar to you, it feels really good. And so
Nice.
yeah, and so that's where people kind of find me through that and through like social media and things.
Got it. Okay. So when I first met you, you were doing more of the nutrition stuff and supplements, things of that nature.
Yeah.
Is that still in the cards, or has this been a shift to Light of Love coaching?
Yeah, so actually a big part of what I do too is help people nutritionally.
Okay.
Um because for me as well, it was like I was doing a lot of emotional eating and all this kind of stuff where it's like I felt like I couldn't, with like dealing with depression and anxiety and PTSD, it's like I felt like I didn't have any control over my life. And um for me personally, I wanted to avoid medication first, or I didn't want to have to go down that route first. And I know a lot of women that do, and that's okay. But for me, it wasn't what I wanted to do because I knew how beneficial that, nutrition, how our bodies can really heal
Mm-hmm.
based on what we're feeding it. And so I had to like find myself in that sense again too, which was so interesting being in health and nutrition for so long and feeling so out of control with my health and nutrition.
Yeah.
And so a piece of what I do is, because a lot of times when people experience a death of a loved one, a lot of health issues do come up.
I imagine
Um,
it's a type of stress, and
yeah,
stress on the body
stress and
is,
everything, and it breaks down our immune system. And so, and it's not just like colds and flus, like it can be, like heart conditions come up and
oh
like
yeah.
all or like migraines and just and a lot of the stuff to like being lethargic, and a lot of those are similar symptoms to depression.
Mm-hmm.
And so I really help people relieve the symptoms. It's not about like getting rid of depression, it's relieving those symptoms so then the depression doesn't have such a stronghold on them. And
Right.
so I do a lot with health and nutrition, and helping people with that, with relieving those symptoms so then they maybe aren't as dependent on medication, or they don't have to go on them at all.
Gotcha. Okay. Interesting. The medication, I imagine, is some antidepressant,
Yeah.
something or other, or okay.
Yeah, yeah, and they can be so valuable, and they can be life-saving too, especially people who have like suicidal thoughts and things like that. So there's nothing wrong with it. I
Sure.
just know that there are other ways to help yourself feel like yourself. And I know women, because I've talked to so many, that they don't feel like themselves when they're on their medication, and they want to feel like themselves again. So that's
Right.
like, if they feel like themselves on the medication, then it's perfect for them. But if they're not feeling like themselves, that's where I kind of come in and help guide them.
Yeah. To me, I guess, I mean, like taking aspirin. So medication to me seems like a Band-Aid fix when
Yeah,
there's
and
more of a
yeah,
mental thing going on.
it can be, and or it's like it's either a band-aid fix, or it's something that should be more of a temporary solution or a
Right.
temporary fix, and
Mhm.
not a long-term fix.
Right. Fair.
And so, yeah, right.
Interesting. So when did you start this Light of Love coaching?
Back in 2020, actually, right
You
around,
did? Okay.
yeah, and in February of 2020. Yeah.
Well, there's timing,
And
huh?
yeah, I mean, it was very interesting timing. Luckily, I was like, and I still am in a program that helps like holistic professionals with their businesses and things.
Yeah.
And so before before the pandemic started, she was already teaching us like how to build an online platform so
Oh,
you could reach more people. So
okay.
right now I don't have any local clients. All of my clients are around the US.
Sure.
Um,
Okay.
and
So
so
probably,
luckily that was already in place for me. And so it
yeah.
wasn't like that part of it wasn't difficult. There was a lot of other difficulties with like,
I
I'm sure you know,
imagine it
like
was
staying at home and
right. I imagine it was helpful to a point because people weren't asking, "Hey, can I have an in-person meeting?"
right.
They just expected it to be remote,
Yes. Yeah.
and yeah, so it worked out that way. Tell me,
Yeah.
when the clients that you have, are they national, international?
Yeah. I don't have any clients international right now. But in my support group, there's women from all over. I have several in the UK, a
Oh,
couple
wow.
in Australia,
All
even
right.
with like the time difference, and then definitely and then in Canada and some in Mexico, and then all around the US too.
All right.
So yeah, I mean, that's the world we're living in now. I feel like it's
Turns out.
yeah. And I was like on a call with someone that's trying to put together a grief conference, and there was people from all over. And it was funny, I connected with someone that was in Australia, and I'm like, what time is it there? And it was like 9 o'clock in the morning, and it was like 4 o'clock or something here. And we're like, we feel like we're time travelers or something, because
Funny.
it's like I'm in the future and she's in the past when we're talking to each other.
What did you say?
So
Grief? This is like a grief expo, or what did you call it?
yeah, it's like a grief conference that someone's trying to
I'm
put
just
together.
trying to imagine a bunch of people there at the grief conference. That sounds like a terrible time.
Yeah, well, and so that it could be, but it's not, because all of the people coming there as participants might not be in a great place, but the people speaking are kind of like speaking that like that hope, and still like honoring the grief, because it's like grief never really goes away. It's just kind of shifts and transforms to the life that you want, but like people can get stuck in it too,
Right.
and that's like that trying to go back to who we used to be is sort of thing.
All right.
And so yeah, conferences like this I think are uplifting, because again it's like you get this community of people that just get you,
Mm-hmm.
and then you also see people that are, for lack of a better word, like on the other side, or like they're out of that stuck space,
Mm-hmm.
and like living life with like feeling like they're like living life on purpose and feeling like they have joy and they're not just sad all the time.
All right. I just imagine a bunch of people at this grief conference, and a few people are just like, "What am I doing here?" And it's just when stuff clicks and they leave. I'm going to the happy conference down the road.
Yeah, right. Well, and oh yeah, and I mean, I haven't been a part of anything that hasn't been virtual yet. Like everything's been virtual. So,
All right.
which I think can be kind of nice because then it's like you don't always have to have a camera on. You can kind of have your own space.
Right.
I am going to be part of my first in-person event in May for Mother's Day. So I'm really looking forward to that. So yeah.
So that's another thing I want to ask you about the remote thing versus in person.
Yeah.
In-person interviews I enjoy better just because there's more of an energy, there's more dimension. It's better sound.
Yeah, right.
Light. It's just like everything about it seems better to me. And I feel like there's more of an energy or dynamic with the person that I'm talking to, and this goes with coaching as well as interviews like this. I mean, Zoom interviews, they're cool, obviously. They're fun, but the in-person stuff I feel is better. With something this intense, how do you convey or understand all that's going on with them for the stuff that isn't necessarily said? You know how, like the body language thing, in Zoom we get whatever here.
Yeah.
In person you get more.
Yeah.
You can see little body language things that you're like, oh, I asked the wrong question, or oh, I totally asked the right question, or something of that nature. So how do you adapt to that?
Yeah, that's a great question. And I think there's a couple ways. Is what I do personally is I do group coaching.
Okay.
And so having people in a group really like adds to the energy that you're talking about is like, and it allows people to feel like when they're there, other people are probably asking questions or having things come up that are similar to what they have coming up, but they didn't have the courage to quite ask yet. And then when that person asks their question and I'm coaching them through it or whatever, and then after I'm done talking with that person, then the next person says like, oh my gosh, thank you for saying that because I'm going through something very similar. And then it starts breaking down the walls and the barriers.
All right.
So doing it in a group setting is really beneficial. And then also I love in person. I used to go to retreats all the time and
nice.
All types of things like that, where it's like you're fully immersed in with people, and usually like there's some sort of commonality with everyone that's there. And it's something I want to start doing with my business as well. But then I've done some virtual retreats where it's a longer period of time. So maybe we do like 5 or 6 hours on a Saturday and we break it up a little bit, but you have that deeper time to kind of really walk through things. And I think that allows people to be more vulnerable. And it also, some people, especially with grief, is just so interesting. Like it's like so different for everyone, but there's so many commonalities. And sometimes people being in their own house, they actually feel more comfortable than going somewhere, especially people who are already naturally more like introverted people. Like we are both kind of more like, we like to be around people. Like we're extroverted type of people. But so people that are in their grief that were already more introverted, thinking about going outside of their house to go anywhere, let alone go to something that's going to make them like feel all the feelings, can be really difficult. Sometimes people actually share more when they are in a virtual setting because they're in the comfort of their home and they have more of that like feeling of like safety.
Interesting.
Yeah.
It's so interesting to me when I meet people like you that are doing stuff like this. It's one of those things that I know that it's necessary, but I just do not have the personality for it. I'm just like, everybody's got problems, move on. So when you're working with your group, is there ever somebody on either end of the spectrum where one person is like, oh my gosh, I'm just upset that, I don't know, my pet rock got lost, versus someone that their entire family got killed in a car accident or something like that, where there's some people where you're just like, I don't even know how you get out of bed.
Yeah.
Where people are in this group and the one person's like, wait, your entire family's gone. I really don't have that bad or something like that. Or one-upping or anything like that. Is that a thing for grieving? I don't know. I've never been a part of this or groups like this, so I'm curious.
I mean, comparison is a big thing. Like,
Okay.
because yeah, I mean, comparison on different levels of comparison of, oh my gosh, they have it so much worse than me.
Hmm.
Why? And then like that guilt comes up again, like, oh, I shouldn't feel this sad.
All right.
But it's like, but also it's like, well, it's okay to be sad, because just because they maybe had more family members that died doesn't mean that what you're feeling is not, like, not valid. And at the same time, something that I have to talk about a lot, because people see me, especially because I have people that come to me that the death of their person happened much earlier than the death of my son. And
Okay.
so, and they're like, how are you at this place already? And so then they compare themselves to me and like thinking, oh my gosh, I should
Oh.
be where you're at. And what I have to remind people is like, I also like was seeing two therapists at one time. I got coaching. Like I did a lot of my own inner work. And if you want to get to a place like that, and it's like we still have our own struggles, but it's like I always have some sort of support. And if you want to get to a place like that, you have to be willing to invest in yourself and doing some of that deep work that you don't want to do, because you're going through all of these emotions that can feel really hard. And so comparison is a big thing. And so I'm definitely always reminding people to do their best to not compare. It's hard to not compare with
Right.
anything in life, right? Like with business owners or like other podcasters or like whatever. It's we're always comparing, and it's good to look at other people and be inspired by them.
Hmm.
And I've even heard, I feel like recently, about jealousy actually being a little bit of a good thing, because that's a sign that you want a little bit more, that you desire
Totally.
more.
Yeah, it's a motivator.
And as long as you're not taking it to the extent that then you're overdoing it, but like that's your sign that like, hey, you can do more, or that maybe you're meant for a little bit more. So if you're jealous of this person, you have to also ask yourself too, then what are they doing
Hmm.
that you're not, that has got them to this place? Because they're doing something different, and you have to be willing to do what they've done or something similar in order to get to that place. But don't judge yourself for where you're at now, because that's, everyone has their own path and their own journey. So
Right. Without those comparisons or even marginal feelings of jealousy, something like that, we'd probably all be driving silver minivans,
yeah.
something of that nature, right? Like you want to go after more because you know that more exists. If you didn't know, or if you didn't strive, then
Right.
life would be somewhat pointless.
Right. Yeah. Right. Exactly. And
So
I drive a minivan, and I love my minivan. So
I gotta say, just as a side tangent with minivan thing, I got one kid, right? So I'm like, we don't need a minivan. That's dumb. But then I was more of a station wagon guy, this little station wagon. But then when the bus service in 2020, the school stopped busing, we ended up being part of a neighborhood busing, which means that we had to haul a bunch of kids to school a couple days a week. And then my kid got hauled to school in other,
mhm.
I call them buses, what are there, Suburbans, minivans, whatever, just brat buses, people haul. So we get this minivan, and I bought this minivan with the intention of like, we're going to have this thing for 6 months. We're going to bang out the school thing. And then 2021, all's going to be better. We can get rid of this bus. But lo and behold, we still have this thing. And so funny, I got this office. I go to the home improvement store. I get a 12-foot roll of carpet. That thing fit in that van. I didn't have to strap anything down.
Oh
Granted,
my
it's over
God.
the dash, but I'm just like, we fit a 12-foot roll of carpet in this thing like it was nothing. It just swallowed it. Like, what else you got? I'm like, why aren't contractors rolling around in these things?
Yeah,
You
I
got
know.
20-foot tall trucks with an 8-foot bed. That carpet's hanging out the back, getting all dirty.
Yes.
In my minivan, it's staying nice and clean.
It's so funny. They are so like, because yeah, it's like we had two children at one time, and like had the minivan, and having one child, it's like, do we really need a minivan? But not only that, but like just like the automatic doors. I just love the automatic doors where you're just like boop button, and it like
Oh my
opens,
gosh, I hate
closes.
those
And
things.
but I
They're so slow. I'm just
yeah,
like, open.
yeah, right. They are, they can be kind of slow, but I remember for my brother's wedding, he got married in December, and they had kind of like a winter theme. And so they had all of these artificial Christmas trees that
All right.
they needed to take to the location. And we had them at our house. And so the weekend of the wedding, a couple of his buddies came to our house with their trucks, and then we had our minivan, and we fit almost all of the trees in our minivan. We only needed like 1.5 of the trees to go in another vehicle. And they're like, whoa, you fit all of that in your minivan? I'm like, these minivans are awesome.
It's crazy.
Everything. Oh my God.
Yeah, it's crazy. I'm just like, okay, there's a practicality to this thing that I did not consider.
I know.
Never
I know.
considered.
I know.
I'm just like, I hate driving it because the corner is terrible.
Yeah, right.
But on the flip side, there's so much room.
It's so funny. I know. I keep thinking like, man, will we get another minivan after this vehicle? It's like, we don't need it, but then there's just so many amazing things about it. It's hard to think about not having it.
Yeah, you want to get a dresser or something. It's so funny how you just, I don't know. I was just like, I think I can get a motorcycle back here. I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, seriously.
I'm pretty sure. And then we're like, well, then we're good.
Yeah. Well, that's funny because my husband and I got Trek bikes last year.
Yeah.
And when we went to get them, and the salesperson's like, oh, what do you drive? And I was like, oh, we drive a minivan. And he actually was like, oh my gosh, I drive the same minivan because you can fit the bike in there. And like, I'm 6 feet tall. My husband is about 6 feet tall. So we had to get taller bikes, and we could fit them both in there without breaking them down. And he said, yeah, most people, you have to take the wheel off and all this kind of stuff. And we just strapped them into the seat belt and like locked them in, and we were able to take 2 bikes. So
we took a family trip to St. Louis, and we just threw all 3 bikes in the back.
Yeah.
It was just one of those, as you're doing it, you're like, really? This is a thing?
Yeah.
There's no bike carrier, there's no turtle on back or anything. We're just like, what else you got? Throw it in there. Kitchen sink, no problem. Like, we're crossing the country and everything we have is in this van. You just stop off on the side of the road when you see some bike trails, bang around, pop them back in the van, move on with your life.
Yeah, right.
It was pretty sweet.
It is.
Yeah.
Oh, that's funny.
Didn't anticipate that. So, just minivans and my pride.
Oh.
Yay, fun time. So that's the solution for all grief, right? To be like,
yeah, right.
What you got to do is just go buy a minivan.
Yeah, right.
Solve all the problems. So let me back up to when you started this, or right before you started this. What made you decide to actually go for starting a coaching business rather than just talking to some friends as a hobby kind of thing?
Yeah, that I got to this point where we decided we weren't going to have any more children, and our daughter was going to be going to school full time. And I was basically, doing my health and nutrition stuff on the side. And then my main focus was my family and my kids. And I was just like, I don't like, I never anticipated just, only focusing on kids. Cause I was like watching other people's kids then too. And it's like, I don't want to do this like daycare thing my whole life. Like, this isn't this was supposed to be a temporary thing anyways. What do I want to do now? And I had a friend tell me, she's like, you should really start coaching, because with your nutrition business, it's like you're selling people supplements and you're coaching them. You're just not charging them for your coaching. And at the time I'm like, ugh, like I feel like everyone's a coach these days. And I don't want to hire a coach. Totally. Like, who wants to hire a coach? And I was just like so over coaches. But then, she's like, yeah, but this is what, this, and people pay for coaches, so you should start doing this. So I was like reluctantly like, all right, I'm going to become a health coach, even though I know there's a million health coaches out there. And
I love the reluctance. Like,
I know. I mean, seriously, I was like very anti-coach before. And it's funny because like I played volleyball in college and like all throughout high school. It's like, so I've always been used to coaching, but only like in a sports sense. Sure. And I ran a club volleyball program and all of these things. And so now I started health coaching, and I was enjoying it and noticing that my clients, so it wasn't focused on grief at all. It was just like focused on the health and nutrition. And I was noticing my clients really needed more work on their mindset and less on what to eat and what not to eat. That was still helpful, and doing some discovery of like what each person is good or bad for them. And so I wasn't necessarily looking for anything, but then I connected with this other person that was a psychotherapist, and she was moving into life coaching, which I thought that was so interesting. Like, oh, why move from psychotherapy to life coaching?
Seems
But
like
there's
a
a little bit
backward
more,
shift a little bit.
right? But there's a little bit more freedom in what you can and cannot do with coaching.
Oh, sure. Okay.
There's not as, you don't have all the other stuff that you have to with like legal things and that kind of stuff. But she introduced me to who I'm working with right now, and to this like holistic business school, but then this certification for life coaching. And it was funny because when I was introduced to her, I was watching some of her trainings and things, and I was like, oh man, there was something that was pulling me to this life coaching. And I was telling my husband, I'm like, I don't know why. I feel like I need to do this. It's specific, it's holistic life coaching. And I was drawn to that because already kind of being more into the health and nutrition type of stuff. But I told my husband, I'm like, I never wanted to be a coach. And I feel like life coaches are like the epitome of coaches, that it's like, who needs a life coach? Like before, when I was like, who needs a health coach? It's like, who needs a life coach? I don't want to be a life coach, but also I feel drawn to this. And so I started this certification because there was just something telling me I needed to. And so when I started this certification, I was still in like full alignment with bringing this to my current clients and nothing more than that. But it was very soon, because we actually were able to, because this was January of 2020 that I started doing this certification, and we got to meet in person for the beginning of it. Like there was like an immersive experience at the beginning.
Yeah.
And during one of our meditations and what we were doing, I just like got this feeling like, oh, I should really be working with grieving women or grieving moms at the time.
Okay.
Instead of, I'm like, because again, there's so many health coaches out there. People can find a health coach, but people who are grieving really need a specific kind of guidance and support.
Yeah, that is
and so it was like during my coaching that I actually shifted to working with grieving women, and I felt more aligned with that, because that's where I was, like through my own experience and knowing what I was going through as someone who is like well educated on health and nutrition and struggling with it myself. It's like I knew other people were going to be struggling with that just as much. And so
all right,
using my own experience to be able to help women, and then what I learned through my certification and all of those types of things. So that's how I got to where I'm at. It was like reluctant, but it felt very kind of like divinely guided, that I just felt this like nudge that I needed to be going this direction, even though in my mind I'm like, this doesn't make sense. But in my heart, I was like, I feel like I need to do it.
All right. What was the timeline between when you started your life coaching and when you figured out and focused on your niche?
Like a few weeks. It was
I
had just started. So it was like I had only been health coaching for a few months at that time. Yeah. So it was like October I started health coaching, and then January, that was October of 2019. January of 2020 is when I found this holistic life coaching. And then at the end of January, beginning of February was when I was like, oh, I'm shifting to, and the name of like the Light of Love coaching kind of came to me during the certification. There was just like a big shift of where I was going. So yeah, It was, again, it's just like one of those things that I still think about, again, kind of laughing about coaches, and like I feel like everyone's a coach, but there's also a big need for it. I think part of the reason why there's a need, especially now, is therapists are really hard to come by. Like it's hard to find a therapist. They're overworked, just like, healthcare workers, teacher, like all those types of people. They are working nonstop. It's hard to find a therapist, let alone find one that syncs with you, that, like I talked about with my story. It's like, I had a good therapist, but she wasn't right for me. And so I stopped seeing her. And that's what happens a lot of time with people, is they stop seeing that person, but it's such a process to find the right one that fits. Mm-hmm. And so having a coach is kind of nice, especially with social media, because we can share more things on social media about our own experiences and really share more about our process, that people can kind of get an idea of who we are before they start working with us, instead of being like, well, because the person I went to see for therapy was highly recommended for people who had lost children.
Oh,
And a lot of people loved her, but it just wasn't quite for
sure.
me. And so I think that's the benefit of having coaches, is that people can kind of get an idea of who we are before they start working with us. And there is a big need because how hard it can be to find a therapist
Right.
that works. So
Yeah, I imagine wait lists and the whole, yeah.
I mean, the therapists that we see right now for our family, we have to book out like 3 months in advance. And then and then it's like, oh, it got canceled because of whatever other reason. So then you're like waiting another month to see. And luckily it's like, we're at a place where it's more of like maintenance for us.
All right.
But it's like, if people really need to be seeing their therapist like twice a month or something like that, it's really difficult to get in to see therapists, even though a lot of it can still be virtual. They're like booked back to back and like all this kind of stuff. So yeah.
It's so interesting because I think of like a mechanic. If a mechanic said, "Hey, I can't fix your car for another 3 months," you'd be like, "Well, I gotta either find somebody else or I'll just fix it myself."
Yeah.
Right? You got a hole in your drywall. The drywall repair person can't come by for 3 months. You're like, I'll just fix it myself.
Right.
Is there ever a time when people are looking for therapists or coaches and they see that the wait list is that long? You're like, I'll just fix it myself.
Right. Yeah. And it is. I mean, and that's part of what is so difficult with people who feel like they're stuck in their grief, is like they're just trying to do it themselves, and or they like get sick of like trying to find the right person to help them, because a lot of times too, it's like family, they're not meant, they're there to support, but they can't necessarily help you through your grief, because even like me and my husband, we grieve different. And it's like, we can be support for each other. But when I was struggling really bad, it's like, he couldn't help me. Mm-hmm. I needed someone else to help me. And I'm lucky that I had basically 2 therapists at the same time, because we were seeing one with our daughter. And so that like ended up being enough for me. But if I don't know what would have happened if I didn't have something in that interim time.
Yeah.
And I think that's why part of the reason why I didn't keep seeking out a different therapist for me is because we already had another one, even though it was a different feeling. Mm-hmm. But yeah, it's when people try to do it on their own, it just doesn't usually work. When they're feeling this stuck, it's like, because we tend to just keep going in these same cycles over and over again of like, we get to kind of, it feels good, but then something comes up. Mm-hmm. And it just like takes you back, especially if there's any like PTSD or anything. I feel like it just like takes you back to where you feel like, oh, everything that I feel like this progress we've made is now like, I feel like I'm starting back over from the start again. Yeah. And so that can be really difficult when it's like, I'm just trying to do it on my own. And that's not the way to do it, is trying to do it on your own.
Right. I can remember my wife and I, took us 5 years to get pregnant, and there were a few miscarriages in there, and we made the mistake / it's funny now, but we went to see a Daniel Tosh stand-up comedy. We're going to see stand-up comedy, and of course he has this bit on miscarriages and stuff like that. And I'm just thinking like, oh, this is kind of funny, but not now. My wife, you can just tell she's not having a good day. And I had to take it like it's comedian, whatever, life goes on. But she was like, who is this guy? Just kind of didn't see it coming. Should have saw it. Did not see it coming. But then you'd be watching a movie or something like that, and then there'd be some side story about some couple not being able to have a kid, whatever. Just little stuff like that where he's like, is this everywhere? Really? Yeah. Like, we're just trying to chill out on a Friday night. Yeah. And it would be stuff like that would come up. Now we laugh at it because that was years ago. But at the time, it was challenging. It is. So I can see how people need or would do better with someone to talk to about that.
Yeah. Yeah. It is so interesting. I remember that too, where it's like, you just want to sit back and watch a movie, and then it's like, how does this movie have to do with the stuff that we're going through right now? Like,
Right.
like, come on, can I just watch a movie? Like, especially it's like, let's go find a comedy, and then it's like, no comedy, I feel like, is like just straight comedy, and then you're like crying because there's something that came up, and it's like, oh my gosh, I can't just relax.
Right.
And I think that's the thing, is like, you want to just relax for a little bit and not think about it, and then it's like you go to do these things, and it's like, well, it's just right back in your face again.
Right. What are they doing with the plot? Come on.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
Funny.
Oh.
So, what do you see going forward with your business? What are the plans for growth and all that?
So definitely like continuing to do the group program is it's so beneficial, and it's definitely something I enjoy doing it with groups. But I actually, like, last year I joined my local chamber, which is actually like in Sauk City, Prairie du Sac. So when you say,
Oh,
like,
nice. All right.
Prairie, I joined the chamber because all of a sudden last year I was just like, I need to kind of stay in the virtual world, but like I need to get in the local world again, because too, my husband grew up in this area, but I didn't, and I kind of knew people, but not enough. And we had only been here for like 3 years at the time before the pandemic started. So I'm like, I need to like get in the local community. So,
Right.
And I have visions of doing in-person retreats, and I would love to, especially this area, the Sauk Prairie area. It's just so beautiful around here, to be able to use like things from the local community, and like spaces, and food, and like all that kind of stuff, and all the beautiful hiking trails around this area too. So I see retreats in the future, in-person retreats, and being able to do those types of things, because again, I just love them. I'm like we talked about earlier, just like that in-person energy, it is really irreplaceable. Like, you cannot replace that. Again, I've been to different retreats, like for like adoptive moms, because our kids were adopted, and it's just like nothing else to be in that atmosphere with all of those people that kind of just get you without having to say anything. It's just like everyone just gets you, and you have this like safe space to share your feelings. It's just so beneficial to be around people physically. And so that is definitely something I see for the future of my business, is doing some in-person retreats a couple times a year, because I enjoy them, and I know they can be so beneficial.
Yeah, it's interesting because I went to a couple of Tony Robbins events, and they were so immersive, and they were very, very enjoyable. I don't go to 50 of them a year like a lot of people seem to do. I just went to a couple. It was fine. You walk on fire and all that jazz. And they're doing virtual ones now, and I'm like, I don't see myself in my living room jumping up and down, high-fiving and stuff like that with the same energy that was in that whatever I want to say conference room, but it was 8,000 people. I don't know. We're in big rooms. I don't see that being the same. I see it still being good, but not just this smack in the face, immersive. But there's a whole psychology. It was interesting. There's a whole psychology of what's going on with those events, and I'm sure other similar events, that just when you're not next to a bunch of people doing the same thing, I just imagine I'd be jumping up and down, looking at the camera. Yeah. And my wife would walk in. She'd be like, we need eggs or something like that. Like, I don't know.
Yeah.
Like,
wait.
Just record scratch.
Yeah.
Bell is broken.
I'm in the middle of this vibe here.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Did you see I'm changing?
Yeah, right. Yes. Yeah.
So it's just a weird, I guess it's probably okay, but
I
it's
think
not.
the beauty of virtual is that it gives more opportunities for people that would maybe not fly into things like
Definitely.
Tony Robbins. People fly in for, right? Like people will fly in for that, but it gives people an opportunity to kind of, again, I agree. It's like there's definitely different energy about actually physically being together, but then like the virtual aspect is like you get people from all over the world, really, and that it brings a different kind of energy, but it allows for that. So I
Yeah,
think, you know, it's like finding that balance between both.
right. There's definitely opportunity, and there or other opportunity for people that are remote. Me with my
Mhm.
the call answering service we had a little holiday party. Everybody's all over the country, so we did what we could to have a little Zoom holiday party. And though I would have much preferred to have an in-person one, it actually wasn't that bad. It was pretty good. Thank goodness that I had one of my crew did a very good job organizing some trivia things, setting up some games and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So it wasn't just a Brady Bunch screen of us looking all around. But yeah, there's something to be said for that. We actually had one where we weren't going to fly everybody into any one given space for all kinds of reasons, right?
Right.
So there's definitely practicality there. And I think with what you are doing, there's probably some people that may be afraid to just go out
Yeah.
because maybe they don't want to feel the guilt of feeling guilty or the guilt of feeling sad or angry,
Hmm.
whatever, I guess, feelings that they have
Yeah.
in that regard. So this gives them a little bit of privacy,
Yeah.
or at least the illusion
Definitely.
of it.
Right. Yeah. And I think too, uh, with like a virtual program and things like that is because we meet on a regular basis, you still can build really great relationships
Oh, sure.
with people. But I know like too, it's like I met this woman that she lives in Northern Illinois and we're actually like talking right now, like we met virtually and we're like talking right now of like how we can get together. But
Oh,
like,
fun.
we're both definitely more of again like that we like to be around people. But it's like it's like I still have this everyone I meet virtually, it's like, oh, I would love to be able to get together with you in person.
Right.
um and yeah, so it's definitely very very interesting, but
Yeah.
there's benefits to both. And
Right.
yeah.
Are you the clients that you've had? Have there been any where you're just like, I'm not a good fit for you, or something of that nature? 'Cause something like that has got to be very well. I guess by definition, it's very personal. There's got to be some times where I understand where the client says to the therapist, "You're not for
Yeah.
me," but does the therapist or the coach in this case ever say to the client, "You're not for me"?
Yeah, that can happen. I did have one situation where I felt I could just tell like something just wasn't quite right, basically because like she wasn't showing up like she had been, and like
Oh,
I could just tell there was just something was a little off. And so we just had a conversation and we're like, hey, is this we like I wasn't quite feeling like it was a fit for her anymore and she wasn't quite feeling it either. So we decided to just part ways.
nice.
And um because that, especially with a group setting, it's
Hmm.
like it changes the energy when you realize, oh, this person was showing up all the time and now they're not showing up at all, like what's going
Yeah.
on, like people start questioning like what's going on, is, you know. And so it's like being able to just say like, hey, this isn't a fit, and
Hmm.
the energy of the group is kind of shifting. And so I think it's time to kind of like part
Well,
ways.
all right.
So and that situation in particular, it was very like we both agreed that it wasn't
Hmm.
right anymore. So
Yeah.
it worked out all right. I haven't had a situation yet where I'm just like, you need to leave because you're messing up the vibe here, sort of thing.
All right.
I mean, honestly, like if people are showing up, it's hard for them to, unless they're like taking all of the time for themselves. It's most of the time there's like not necessarily just people showing up as themselves and being vulnerable is like
Hmm.
the energy that we we want and need in those group settings. So
Got it. All
yeah.
right. I want to talk to you about pricing.
Yeah.
So can you tell me, without telling me your pricing models, because public access gets excited about that. Um, can you tell me how you came up with your pricing? And because something like this seems like it'd be a challenge. Like, I'm going to help you through this grieving process, but there's a cost because it's a
Yeah.
business. That's how we stay in business. So it's got to be a challenging dynamic. So tell me how you went about coming up with your prices, and then how do you talk about your clients about getting paid and all that jazz?
Yeah, that has been something that is hard to kind of figure out, like, where is that balance. And I mean, something that I started with was, well, what are our therapists getting paid, the ones that we had seen? And of course, like, they have more, school and whatever stuff that
Right.
they had to go through. But like, also like my life experience, and that's what I've heard from so many people. It's like a lot of women that I actually coach, they either have therapists or had therapists in the past.
Mm-hmm.
And there's just like that connection of like having that similar experience. And so there is value in that as well. And just knowing like what we pay for therapy outside of what insurance covers too,
Mhm.
is like, okay, like what would people be used to kind of paying? And then just knowing too, and this is something my coach has reminded me of, it's like, it's not just about the amount of time. It's not just that, like, you're not getting paid hourly. You're getting paid
No.
to really like help them through a
results.
transformational process. Like, what is the
Yeah.
result that you're getting them? And I mean, for most people, it's really, it's priceless what they're experiencing, because they're finding themselves again and feeling aligned. And when they feel like themselves again, it's like, it affects their relationships. Their relationships become better. They are able to find work that aligns with them, so they can work more consistently and not be missing so much work.
Mhm.
And then their finances change. So it's like all of these different things that go into it. And so I have at this point, I have a 12-month program.
All right.
And like, actually right now I'm doing like a 4-week mini program with some people, but like my main program is a 12-month program. And I did that because I had clients re-enrolling with me, because of the different levels or like layers of grief that they go through. It's not about them being dependent on me, but it's like, oh, now we're dealing with this new thing. Let's work through that. And so I have a 12-month program. So people are able to pay upfront in full if they want. And when they do that, they obviously save a little bit more than if they pay monthly.
Mhm.
Otherwise, I have monthly options. And then I always, if someone is like, I really know I need this, but money is tight, then it's like, I talk to them to figure out, okay, well, how can we make this work?
Right.
With your finances and with a payment plan that works for you. And so I get creative with people too, but it's really, it's an interesting thing to kind of try and figure out, because again, going back to that comparing, it's like, you have to kind of look at what other people are doing, but you don't need to necessarily compare yourself to what other people are doing. But at least to get an idea of, oh, if people like my clients or potential clients are looking, they're going to be looking at other people. And they, if my price is too high, then they might just go to someone else, even though it might not be a good fit for them, because they're like, oh, well, this is just too much for me right now. But also kind of standing firm and knowing that the results that they're going to get are really going to make a big difference in their life, and that there's a lot of value in that.
Yeah.
And yeah,
it's always interesting with a service like this, because even though you may be meeting hourly or for a given time frame, the value is not necessarily, there is not completely in that hour. The value is what happens because of that hour.
Yeah.
So just like you don't pay a surgeon for that hour of slicing you up, like now you can think with your brain surgery, or you can move your leg or something like that. So there's value there.
Yeah.
But then you think also, well, like the plumber unclogged my sink, like, isn't there value in having a sink that drains? So there's a, I guess there's a happy medium somewhere there.
There is.
But
yeah.
at any rate, yeah, it's got to be interesting, especially with something like this.
Yeah.
Where somebody's grieving, but in the end, you still got to get paid because the world's still got to spin.
Yeah. And I mean, I've had people say to me like, oh my gosh, you're taking advantage of people in their grief.
And, do they really?
Yeah. And that was a really hard thing for me to like overcome. And I'm thankful that I had a coach at the time, and she's like, okay, that person is, because she was a grieving woman, a grieving mom at the time. And so it's like, even though I didn't offer her any, like I sent her like a blog of mine, because she was like talking about something. I was like, oh, I feel like my blog could really relate.
Yeah.
And my blog probably mentioned that, you know, that I'm a coach, and my website does too, but I don't put any of my coaching, like I only offer coaching to people like if I've talked to them or they've reached out to me. Like I don't have my coaching on my website. My website is about me. It is about my coaching, but like I don't offer my program on my website.
So there's no call to action, sign up right there.
No, there's like, you know, get on my email list or, you know, reach out to me type of thing, but no, like you can sign up for my program right now. Sort of thing.
Interesting. Okay.
And so I had to kind of come to terms with like, okay, first of all, I'm not taking advantage of like, what am I helping people with what am I helping people with? And it's no different than a therapist or whatever. It's like, I'm helping people through this phase and I'm not taking advantage of them because I know the value of my work and what I'm doing. And based on client results and my own experience, and that I'm not taking advantage. And I wrote after breathing and thinking through it, I wrote a message back to her just saying, you know, I feel like it's not any different than a therapist if someone's looking for a therapist. And honestly, there's so many companies out there that you find after having, especially with child loss, where it's like, oh, there's a jewelry to commemorate your child, or there's this plaque, or there's this picture. There's so many things. And you could say that about all of those people, that they're taking advantage of people in these terrible times in their life, but they're not taking advantage because most of the times those people experience something and this is their way to kind of channel their grief and also like provide something beautiful to the world, so to speak. And so I had to kind of get over that. Like, I'm not taking advantage of people at all. But that was like, kind of like, oh my gosh, it was something that I had to really get over myself, of like making sure I knew that I wasn't taking it like in myself. It's like, I know I'm not trying to take advantage of people. Like, I didn't even want to do this. You know, it's like, I didn't want to be a coach, but it's just like, this is where I've been led to. And so it's no, I know this is where I'm meant to be. And I don't let people like that stop me or slow me down anymore. And I've only had one person actually say that to me, but I'm sure other people have thought it. And so
they're welcome to. It's all good. In the end, if you're not going to get paid, how many people could you really help?
Right. Exactly. I know. And that's the thing.
Be a finite number.
Yeah. It's like, I can't do this for free. If I was doing it for free, I wouldn't be able to do it.
So yeah, them's the breaks. It's just how it rolls. Yeah. Michelle, how can people find you?
They can find me on Instagram or Facebook. Michelle Vande Hey is usually the easiest way for people to find me. If someone wants to reach out, has a question, especially, again, I feel like the most common questions that I get from people who are supporters are, how do I talk to this person, or how do I refer someone to you? Because I don't want to, I don't want to make them feel bad. So if you have a question like that, just send me an email, michelle@lightoflovecoaching.com.
All right.
To just, if you have questions about anything, that's a great way to reach me.
Nice. Cool. Well, Michelle, thank you so much for being on the show.
Yeah, it was a pleasure.
I love what you're doing here. This has been Authentic Business Adventures, the business program that brings you the struggle stories and triumphant successes of business owners across the land. We are underwritten locally by the Bank of Sun Prairie. If you're listening or watching this on the web, if you could do us a huge favor, hit that little thumbs up button to let us know that you liked it. Comment and let us know what you liked. Of course, what you didn't like as well. And subscribe. And of course, share it with all of your entrepreneurial friends and anyone that may need help from Michelle. My name is James Cademan, and Authentic Business Adventures is brought to you by Calls on Call, offering call answering and receptionist services for service businesses across the country, on the web at callsoncall.com, as well as Draw In Customers Business Coaching, offering business coaching services for entrepreneurs looking for growth, on the web at drawincustomers.com. Coaches are everywhere. It's crazy. As well, and of course, the Bold Business Book, a book for the entrepreneur, and all of us, available wherever fine books are sold. We'd like to thank you, our listeners, as well as our guest, Michelle Vande Hey, the owner of Light of Love Coaching. Michelle, can you tell us that website one more time?
Yeah, it's lightoflovecoaching.com.
Awesome. Past episodes can be found morning, noon, and night. The podcast link found at drawincustomers.com. Thank you for listening. We'll see you next week. I want you to stay awesome. And if you do nothing else, enjoy your business.